Juha and the Magical Pot. Long ago, in a quiet village, bathed in golden sunlight, there lived a man named Juha. He was famous for his quick wit, clever tricks, and the funny lessons he taught through his adventures. One day, Juha visited his neighbor, a wealthy man who loved making easy profits. "My dear neighbor," Juha said with a warm smile, "I am hosting a small gathering. Could you lend me your large cooking pot for a few days?" The neighbor gladly agreed and handed over his finest copper pot. A few days later, Juha returned the pot, but to the neighbor's surprise, there was a small copper pot sitting inside the large one. The neighbor stared in amazement. "Juha, where did this little pot come from?" Juha smiled and replied, "Congratulations. While staying at my house, your pot gave birth to a baby pot." The neighbor knew it sounded ridiculous, but the thought of receiving an extra pot for free was too tempting. Happily, he accepted both pots and thanked Juha. Weeks passed, then one day, Juha returned and asked to borrow the large pot again. Remembering the unexpected gift he had received before, the neighbor eagerly handed it over. Secretly, he hoped that this time the pot might return with even more little pots. But days turned into weeks, and Juha did not return. The neighbor became impatient. Finally, he marched to Juha's house and knocked loudly on the door. When Juha appeared, he looked unusually sad. "Where is my pot?" the neighbor demanded. Juha lowered his head and let out a deep sigh. "My friend," he said mournfully, "I am very sorry. Your pot has passed away." The neighbor's eyes widened with shock. "What nonsense is this?" he shouted. "How can a pot die?" Juha looked at him calmly and said, "My dear neighbor, if you believed that your pot could give birth, why can't you believe that it can die?" For a moment, the neighbor stood speechless. Then he realized what had happened. His greed had made him believe the impossible, and now Juha had used that very belief to teach him a lesson. As Juha walked away with a gentle smile, the neighbor was left thinking about his own foolishness. Moral: greed can make people believe even the most ridiculous things.